This is Henrik Knudsen from the Memphis Mansion in Randers, Denmark, and you are listening to the Talking Elvis podcast.
Hi all, welcome back to another edition of the Talking Elvis podcast. What a start that was. Yeah, we're just back from Randers Denmark, where we've been to a very strange museum. Wonderful weekend we've had at the Memphis Mansion. This is a copy of Graceland in the middle of Denmark, and it's an Elvis Museum. It's the home of Always Elvis Radio. It has a wonderful diner. Just a great place to be. I'd like to review all the artifacts from that next week, but I'd like to ask you to join us now, mid-conversation, with Henrik, the man behind the museum and Always Elvis Radio, and join us in the diner as we had a chat about the world of Elvis.
I went to a 50th birthday in Memphis a couple of years ago, and I came in and said, that's something sounding familiar. And they were actually playing Always Elvis Radio.
Oh, wow.
At a party in Memphis. And I could hear Danish and said, that can't be true. I understand this, you know. So it was really, really, really funny.
Excellent.
And we just amazed how many people who actually listen to it.
Yeah. No, I always have it on the background when I'm at work, because it's just sort of, and it occasionally gives me sort of inspiration to play some track on my show and stuff, and it's just nice.
The thing is that sometimes you wish that you could pick and choose yourself.
Yeah.
But because it's a computer control system, it's the computer who pick and choose.
Yeah.
And obviously sometimes if you happen to listen to the radio at the same time the next day, it could be exactly the same song, because that's how it works. But what I think is neat about it is that if you had to pick and choose yourself, you would always take something that you like, or like especially. Yeah. But because it's a computer who does it, it kind of mix it, and people say, oh, that was a great one. That's been a while since I played that song.
Yeah. And what I like is it plays album tracks and not just greatest hits.
It's not the 40 greatest.
Yeah. No, it does.
Good.
We have all the songs in there. We want to expand it a little bit with other, do like a complete show one night, or do something, but it also takes how it takes time to do it.
To do it right, you've got to put the work in.
And if you play 24/7.
That's
a lot of time you have when you don't have the money to pay somebody to do it. You have to do it yourself.
But it is good. It is enjoyable. It's just nice that it's there 24/7 without you having to go into Spotify and just keep picking new tracks. It's
exactly.
I like that. It's good. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it when you're at home. I've got everything myself. I buy it, but you just go, am I going to choose that CD? So it's lovely to have the random of the random Randers. To have you go in. Here's some tracks, and I don't know whether I'm going to get 50s or 60s. What am I going to get next? And then you go, oh, well, find out what's happening. Brilliant. I haven't heard that in ages.
But that's exactly. Yeah. But that's exactly. I have the same. Being in the Elvis environment 24/7, sometimes it can get difficult. Sometimes you don't even listen to what they're. People can come by and say, Henrik, the song you played, the last song that was played over the system, what CD is that on? And I don't even know what they're talking about, because it's just some kind of a background noise, and you didn't really pay attention. And then sometimes you work on something, and a song come up. Like I was working on an article on Red West, and Separate Ways came up, and I was like, what is the meaning of this, And that really, so that's, it's nice to have that you can go home and pick and choose your own stuff, and it's that you really want to hear, and be here and get it like randomly, and get some movie songs that you've been a while since you heard, and okay, it's not that bad. Everybody said it was bad, but it's not that bad.
That's it. It's always Harem Scarum always goes to the bottom of the pile.
It does.
I might play that tomorrow, but I won't. But if it turns up random, you go, oh, golden coins,
exactly. No, but it's true.
We were saying just the same thing Thursday night when we were because we had an evening to play movie tracks and a few beers. And it's just like some of these movie soundtracks. Some of the songs are just like absolute dynamite, you know. And it's a pity they weren't marketed better in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but the thing is, and you know that in life, not even talking about Elvis, but if you have something and you kind of get the idea you don't like it, you talk it down.
Yeah.
Even though it's pretty cool or some of it is nice, but hey, you don't want it because, hey, the three of us, we know what was good for Elvis, the 50s and in 68 and early 70s, he was like, whoa, he was rock and roll and everything he did in between, you know, we don't really want to talk about. But that's a big mistake because he did a shitload of good songs.
Really did.
In the 60s as well, you know. And I'm not only talking about the bonus tracks, US Mail, Guitar Man, and all that stuff, but I'm talking more about, you know, there was good songs. I enjoy. I like of the movies, the movies I really like Roustabout. I like Fun in Acapulco. I like the bossa nova, the whole feel of the album. I think it's amazing. You know, I think it's underrated a lot actually, that album, for what it is. And of course, there's a ton of other songs that are in between and mixed in movies.
I think the first album we went to the other night was Kissing Cousins, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Also a good album.
It's a guilty pleasure, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a guilty pleasure because it's a fun movie. It is exactly what the 60s was about, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's another thing we kind of seems to forget is that because when we look at the Elvis movies and we kind of criticize it, you know, it's so darn easy to do today when the technology is like it is today, where they can make movies where people can be flying up and down and it goes fast and everything. And when you see a movie from the 60s, they try to do the same thing, but it doesn't go as fast, right? Because they didn't have the technology to do it. But if you look at Beatles movies, if you look at Cliff Richard's movies...
Same. Exactly the same.
It's not amazing movies, is it? You know, is it... Some people will probably say some of the Beatles movies are... arty-farty,
yes,
you know,
I think that's
like a little bit, you know, there was a producer or filmmaker involved that really saw something that we didn't see, and that's probably what it is. But if you look at Ben-Hur or you look at the Ten Commands or big movies back in the day, and everybody talked. I remember in my youth, everybody was talking. That's a big movies. That's a big movies. But when you look at them today, are they that big? Great actors, I'm not saying anything, but the movies are very, very slow. You get easily bored.
Don't you see in one of the backgrounds in Spartacus or something like that, there's like a Volkswagen Beetle going past in the background? Something like this.
It didn't matter too much, right? You know,
we can airbrush it out today, but it's in there then.
No, but it's cool, and I'm not trying to diss, because I hate that, to diss anybody else because of Elvis, but it's just when people compare his movies, I really wish they wouldn't, and they would look at it as a time frame and look at it what it did at the time. Yeah. What did we have? Yeah. You know, when young kids see his movies, some of them, you know, if they're really young, they probably like Blue Hawaii and movies like that. You know, it kind of.
I was saying at the time as well, we had nothing else. We didn't have internet.
Exactly.
We didn't have TV programs. So when you saw Elvis at the movies, that was the only chance you had. Yeah. It's like when This Is Elvis came out in 1980. Yeah. You know, it's like we hadn't seen the American television of the 50s before that, the Dorseys and the Sullivan. We hadn't seen that before.
No, on big screen.
You know, so it's, you know, you got to realise, like you say, it's a product of its time, isn't it? You know, it's.
I'm probably a little bit older than you guys. I'm 55.
And me.
He's 55. And I'm just 50 this year. So,
okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. No, but just the reason for asking that is because that sometimes gives you an idea when did Elvis come into your life, and it approximately came in, I guess, about the same time frame for all of us. For me,
so you're talking sort of early 70s, you two, I guess.
Yeah. I came home from school in 72 and heard a song being played with Elvis called Burning Love. Yeah. And as I was only 8 years old, so I tell people I became a fan that day, but when are you a fan? You know, is that when you buy everything, or is it when you just kind of like the music? And that's what I did, you know, I just kind of liked the music. But when he died in 77, was a really big turning point for me, because there was so much in the media. I lived in a town I was born and raised in a town called Odense. It's about 2 hours from here, and we got a lot of German television because it's not that far from the German border. And they had a lot more telly than we had in Denmark, but they showed Elvis all the time. They showed movies, with German
Yeah.
talking over it. But as a kid, I just enjoyed looking at him. And when he sang, of course, he sang English. It was him singing. In 77, it really, that was when it blew my mind, when I really figured out, I saw all the different things, and I thought that I need to collect this. I need to have every record in the world with that guy.
Just like that.
Yeah.
I have to have every, I had a list like 13 or 14, and you're going, I've got that.
Yeah,
Ticking
exactly.
it off and using your pocket money and just going,
yeah.
how do I buy Elvis in concert? I need £8.
Yeah, no, that's true. Every year I kept like an inventory.
Yeah.
Every year I counted like, okay, now I have 52 LPs and 3 cassettes and whatever, and like everybody else in the time frame, and when I say everybody else, I have to be careful, but I know a lot of people got introduced to Elvis by Camden albums. Like I got a lot.
Yeah, same here.
Cheap and cheerful.
Because it was cheap and cheerful, and it was something when people had to buy you something. Okay, I put £2 down or whatever, £2-3 what it would cost at the time, and they had a gift for you, and you really appreciate it. So when you think about it, and again, what we talked about before with the movie songs, we actually got introduced to Elvis, most of us, by his movie songs.
Yeah, simple as.
Because that was mainly what they used on the Camden albums.
Yeah, my mum had a lot of the movie soundtrack albums, and I just raided her record collection basically. And it's, to this day, it's just like as if I heard the song yesterday for the first time. It's
no, but it's fresh to me too. Because
Still
and
sounds
even when I just said that sometimes when I go, I work here and I don't listen to the music, or I listen to the music but I don't realize what I'm listening to. It's not because I don't appreciate it, because I still think it's 100% fresh. I think it's cool, and I'm one of those guys, and I have to be careful because I know probably. I shouldn't say this because in England this is very big, but I was not the biggest fan of the Royal Philharmonic albums.
Oh, okay.
I think it was cool. It was nice, and it was okay. It was another way, and I think what it did most, it hit a lot of people in England because the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra is so big. They're as you know, they're rock and roll stars in your country.
Yes.
That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
So in that way, that introduced Elvis to their audience. And did the Royals got introduced to the Elvis audience? Yeah, of course. But I think it was, Elvis benefited more out of that relationship. But for me, just to turn it around, I think Elvis is good enough as he is.
Yes.
We don't need remixes.
So I always say that.
Yeah, we don't need remixes. Is it cool that they have done it? Do I hate it? No, not at all. But do I prefer the original before anything? Yeah, I do, because I think Elvis is cool as he is.
You're exactly like that, aren't you?
This is.
We have. This is the one argument we have the most.
Is it? No, but I was listening to some of your programs, and I know you have discussed it. So. And I respect that other people have other opinions about this. I'm just saying, the reason we are sitting here in Randers, Denmark, of all places, close to 43 years after he died, and we still talk Elvis, it's because of what he produced. It's not because of some lady thought that he need violence or that... some DJ thought that he needed a boombox or something like that, because he didn't. Was it cool that they did it? Yeah, it was nice. But was it really needed? No, not for me.
No.
It's just my opinion. I think that he's strong enough by himself.
Everybody should have an opinion.
Talking Elvis is a new podcast. Find us at www.talkingelvis.co.uk or Facebook or YouTube or Spotify. In fact, any place you get your podcasts.
Yeah, and I think we're big on, with the opinion, is what do you think of Elvis impersonators and ETAs?
Yeah.
I can't stand them.
No.
But I've got room for people that like them.
Yeah.
But I've no time for it at all, have I?
No,
I'm
none
very,
whatsoever.
very scathing.
Yeah. No, but I'm with you on that 100%. But mainly because I think most of them are bad. And I shouldn't say that because I cannot sing or dance or do movements. And you're sitting in front of me and I don't look like Elvis at all. Can I be impressed that they dare to do it? Yeah. but I can be impressed by somebody jumping off from a cliff with a line on around their feet.
Yes.
So I can be impressed about a lot of things. Should they do it? Not for me. It's nothing for me. Do I see that they entertain a lot of people? Yeah, that's cool. Could I be afraid that some people think that that's Elvis? Yeah, I could be afraid, and that's not Elvis.
That is worrying.
Yeah. And some of them have their little things that they add to it, and in that way, maybe 100 years from now, some people say, "Oh, did he really do that? Or did he say that? Or did he do Sweet Caroline in that way?" No, he didn't. You know, that was something that was added in whenever. So is there space for them? Sure.
Do you get people coming in here dressed up?
Very seldom. But probably because I'm very outspoken with what I think about it. Mm-hmm. Would I throw them out if they came in dressed like that? No, I don't care. You know, I think that's a mental thing, to be honest with you.
That's nice.
Do some people come in here with their hair colored black and sideburns? Yeah, they do. But hey, if you fancy that and you think that's hip, do it, you know.
I did it years ago.
Yeah. You see.
When you had hair.
I have to say, when we had hair, no, I never did it. But would I have done it if I could? I don't know. So I think the most important thing is to remember that there should be room for any likes. If you are into the impersonation, do it and be proud of it and do all you can. But it's not something that I will add to our place. And then people, and let me just say this before you ask me something, and then people say, "But Henrik, what house have you built? Is that not an impersonator house? Are you not copying Graceland? So do you not?"
This is Graceland tribute.
Yeah, it's Elvis Mansion tribute. I don't know what we should call it, but anyway, I see what they're coming from. So why did we do it anyway? We did it because it for us is kind of a symbol that could be out to the street, running in front our Elvis Presley Boulevard. It's not called Elvis Presley Boulevard, but
have you asked for it to be renamed?
No, I would never. It's a big town. It's called Aarhus Street, Aarhusvej.
Okay.
And it's a big city that is a little bit south from here, so that will never happen. But anyway, so is this impersonating? Yeah, it is in a way. So I get it, but it's our way of kind of getting attention.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's today the most photographed house in Randers.
It's excellent. You know, the first thing we did was whip our cameras out.
I can say we must have taken 20 or 30 before we came through the front door.
Thank you.
We just think it's fantastic. You know,
Yeah.
so he's going to Memphis in June, and we've taken the photographs like both of us like this. So he's going to
recreate
Yeah, sure. Of course you will.
side by side.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So because I haven't been to Memphis since 1985.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hugely different for me
Yeah.
when I went
Yeah.
when I was young.
Yeah. So it's the first time since '85, you say?
First time since 85. You've been a few times recently.
Yeah. I've been for about 5 years since the last time.
It's going to be completely different for me. From
Totally. Everything have changed. Everything was. My first trip was in '84, and my last trip was a month ago, and that was my trip number 118 since '84.
Oh,
so I
me
go normally at least 3 times a year.
fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Do you see something new there every time you go?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do, and I appreciate it, and I like it. I can even go to Graceland a couple of times on the same trip, even though I've been there. I will probably not go next time because last time I was over, I went there 3 times. So next time I will focus on something else, go out and look at something else. So.
And do you do the iPad thing, or do you just go around and look?
I don't do the iPad thing. No.
I only did it once. The first time you go in, I think you just have to go and look. I did it the second time round.
Yeah, but I would go twice. If it has been a while, I would go twice. Because you always see something different on your second trip.
Yes.
Because I know you have been there and you kind of have an idea what you're going through, but it's totally changed since you were there. Yeah. So what I normally tell people who are going there for the first time or who haven't been there for a long time, go through with the iPad, get the information you get kind of from that, and then second time do it without it.
Yeah, fantastic.
I would do that,
Yeah, make your mind up.
Yeah.
Because you will experience a lot of things have changed because, his aunt was still living there when you were there, and that's a new room that is open. I think you didn't even get through the kitchen. You get through the kitchen now. Yeah. So there's a few things, but it's totally. I think that they have done it for the better. Some people criticize it as it is right now. I think the house is for the better. What the exchange that they have done. I don't appreciate what they did across the street with the whole shopping area. I know that some people call that Disneyland, but
we did.
Yeah. But that's more Disneyland now, I think. The new one. The new one is more Disneyland. I would agree to that. But the old one was kind of authentic because that was the shopping mall that was across the street from Graceland when he lived there.
Yeah.
So kind of it was the original building. It gave you that kind of atmosphere. And I think that people who didn't have the time to go through the gates, go over and park and pay $6 for parking, go through the whole, there was a lot of people who just stop, take pictures at the gate, and would go over across the street and buy some merchandise, buy an Elvis T-shirt or whatever. And hey, that was cool because they would wear that T-shirt 2 days later on that round trip in the United States. And that would be a great promotion. They don't do that anymore because it's not the same possibility. They have to stop a little further down the street to get that opportunity.
I should buy a T-shirt here, one of yours.
Yeah, and wear it over there. Yeah, but we do that all the time.
I'll send you a picture.
And people are looking and they say, well, Memphis Mansion, what is Memphis Mansion?
Do you go elsewhere in Memphis? When do you see the city? Do you live the city, or do you just do the Graceland area?
I do. I never stay. Not true. I should say it differently because I stayed at Graceland tons of time. But if I can, I prefer to stay downtown.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Because there's too much going on down there, and there's really nothing going on at the Graceland area.
No.
So I stay downtown, and I drive around. I always go to see if I can find new places. Elvis, and it could be silly places, where he just put gas on his car or something like that. I want to see that place. Yeah, exactly. And that is super, super silly for some people, but I love it.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you go and discover any city that you go to, honestly?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, sure. So I like that, and I like to go out a little bit on every time one night, go to Beale Street and hang out and listen to some music. And otherwise, I go to some places in Midtown. There's a place called Lafayette, a restaurant and a music hall, and they normally have very good music, Memphis music, not Elvis only, sometimes Elvis, but really authentic blues or country or rock and roll from the area, and I really like it. It's called Lafayette, so if you've never been there, go there.
It's something to consider.
Right.
Yeah. It's not because really far, and it's really odd because just around the corner is the Memphian, where Elvis used to go to the movie theaters. That's just around the corner.
I've driven past the Memphian.
So it's just in that. And if you go a little further down the street on Madison, which Lafayette is placed on, you see Dr. Nick's office. Not that we should praise that too much, but he's where he had the doctor's office where Elvis came. It's just down the street. And across from there is the prescription place where he got his drugs. So it's sorry for this. It's it's just, have I been there? Yeah, I have been there.
It is what it is, though.
It is what it is. And that's what it is for me. It's part of the history.
Whether we like it or not, that is part of Elvis's life.
That's part of his life, and I was talking about that earlier. I was brought up at a time frame in Elvis's afterlife, after his death, where people were saying, What Happened is the worst book ever. He didn't do drugs. It was some kind of medicine. And, as you grow up and kind of understand it, hey, there was a different lifestyle to Elvis, and he's living. And you know what? he said it the best himself. He said when people was criticizing, "Have you walked a mile in my shoe?" And that's true. We cannot, we can guess how it was to be Elvis.
Well,
but
here's a man who was in isolation for 15 years almost because he couldn't come here and do this, could he? We couldn't go over.
No, nothing.
And that must be a hell of a thing.
So we can, we can just talk about it, but it's we never know.
No. It was the biggest culture shock ever, isn't it? From having no money to having all the money.
Yeah.
And in 2 years, how do you can't cope with that, can you?
He never coped with that in his life.
No.
So.
But it's like the lottery winners now, isn't it? It just messes you up.
True. But I don't think it was only the money. I also think it was the fame, and I think that
it's the intensity of the fans as well.
Also the family. I think the family is a little bit to blame too, because they and I'm not talking about Gladys, and I'm not talking too much about Vernon, but I think everybody around them knew that, hey, here's the kid. He has all the money in the world. We want part of that.
Yeah.
So he had people from all corners of America with the name Smith or Presley trying to see if they could get $2 out of him, And I think that's so... And of course you don't get into drugs because of that, but, that's just one brick on another brick on another brick, and here you go, and suddenly, you to get away from it all, you do stuff. He's not the first. He's not even the last. A few years ago, we lost that Swedish DJ, 27 years old. We lost George Michael.
And
we lost Prince.
Same.
We didn't think Prince did anything in the whole world. He seemed like the healthiest guy in the world. Yeah. He told everybody he was eating carrots from in 24 hours a day, and he was exercising, and still he was putting pills in his head. And it's the stupid thing you can do, but who are we to tell that? We don't know what these people live through.
We do not, no. Do you have any sort of relationship with Elvis Presley Enterprises? Because you had a rough start, of course, didn't you?
Yeah, I have. I always.
You don't need to go into that.
No, but it's not a problem really. I had the best relationship with them for. How long? 25 years, about 25, 26 years, and I kind of still have. We're still in touch.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I think that mainly, of course, not mainly. I know that this house that we are sitting in right now is to blame for it, and of course, am I a little bit sad about that? Honestly, I'm very sad about it because it was never my intention to hurt anybody's feeling. I met with Priscilla before we built the house and still have a good relationship with her, and also Lisa. Still get their Christmas cards.
Oh,
but something changed, when
that's a shame.
When we did this. And we really, of course it's a business. Hey, there's 40 people working here.
But you also just want to promote Elvis
every day, and we don't get any sponsor, krona from anybody.
Surely this is doing more for the image than an awful ETA in a pub down the road. This is only promoting it in a good way, isn't it?
That's what I hope, because, and coming back to the impersonator house, is that when people come into the impersonator house, we kind of tell the story. We kind of talk about Elvis. We don't talk about fairy tales. We talk about what we just touched now, the drugs. It's not that we shout drugs when people come in. We talk about it if they ask.
Yes, what it is.
But we talk about Elvis all day. We have fans coming in who are like us, wow, he's the king and he's the best, and we hug each other and we say, yeah, you're right, he is. And we have people who comes in who are doubters, who say, oh, he was just a country boy and he never really made it and he couldn't write a song, and we try to tell them what he really did, that he rocked the world, that he could sing out of a telephone book and everybody wanted to listen to it.
Yeah.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, you know what? So it doesn't matter. We have met a ton of songwriters who couldn't sing. So there you got it. So what do you want? So we actually, not blindfolded, but really with a strong mind, try to promote Elvis every day. And what some people may not know, but we are open 7 days a week. We only close for a few hours at Christmas. We actually open Christmas Day until noon, and we are open New Year's Eve, the 31st of December until noon, and then we open the next day, the 1st of January, and it goes boom, 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 boom.
Man, that's so
So we are here every day. We of course we have the restaurant and all that kind of business as well. We have probably a lot of guests in there right now who is not Elvis fans, but who are just here because they like the environment.
The food is good and
50s diners.
Yeah.
You're listening to Talking Elvis with Vince Wright and Ian Gray.
And of course you had Linda Thompson here last year for the August. Was it for the August celebration?
Yeah, that was the year before.
Oh, the year before. Okay.
Yeah. We had Linda here.
And so.
Any other plans like that?
Yeah, we do. This August we have. We don't have Linda this time. Last year in 19 we had Donna Presley and a ton of guests. This year we have and here we are actually probably testing waters because we have Dave Hepler here.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and
I know that would be some people. That would be some people saying, "Oh, why do you do that?" But we have Dave Hepler here for the same reason. We have had Sonny here and Red here. That hey, we were not there when their commotion was happening. I cannot say that I understand what they did or I understand what Elvis did. I just know that everybody is are human beings and allowed to say what they want to say. We can walk out if we don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But what really tested me one time was when I took Red West over to Denmark. I became very, very close with Red and Pat for a long time. And when I decided to take him to Denmark, I got a ton of letters from people saying, "Hey, Henrik, you ruined the whole thing. The Elvis world in Denmark will fall apart," and blah, 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 blah. I didn't sell too many tickets. To be honest, I sold 60 tickets for his event, and but anyway, that was cool. What was really, really cool was there was a few people, some of the haters there, and one of them was standing up and said, "Hey, I have a question for you. How come you didn't stand up for Elvis? How come you didn't help him when he was falling and into this situation with the drugs?" And I was standing this close to Red, and I could see that he started crying. The tears was running down his cheek. And I thought, shit, man. I had to look away because I'm very sensible when it comes to that too, And I knew that somebody had really punched him in his stomach, Yeah. And he stumbled through this, and he said, "You know what? We really tried, but we didn't succeed." And that's probably my biggest failure in life.
Wow, to hear that coming out of a mouth of a guy like that,
I'm feeling up thinking about it.
Yeah. No, but it was crazy, And then he won everyone. From that, everybody knew that, hey, this is
for real.
He was doing a book. He was interviewed by that journalist from New York. He was not writing the book. He was talking. Yeah. He didn't see the book before it was printed. And he always said to me, when we kind of discussed this, he said, "Henrik, that book should not have been written the way it was written. But there's nothing."
This is the What Happened book.
Yeah. There's nothing that is not the truth.
Oh, that's interesting.
So when we see the book today, I think we have gotten Priscilla Presley's book. And as much as I like Priscilla as well, hey, was she tough on her ex-husband? I think she was. She was claiming all sorts of things, with pills, with rapings, with what have you. Mm-hmm. And, if you don't like that book, you shouldn't like the other book. And then you can go on. I think that Red, Sonny, and now Dave Hepler have had to have the chance to tell their story and then let people ask them, "Hey, what do you think?"
If they're prepared to come out here and stand up and front up and answer questions, then all praise to them for that, because it would be very easy to run away from that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I think a lot of people could just come out and say Elvis was the best person in the world. He kept unicorns in the back garden. He had rainbows every day, and everything was wonderful. And we don't want to hear that, do we? I want a real story. I want to know.
True.
I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly downtown.
No, but Elvis was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We just have to realize it. It was invented by him. And was it all good? No, it was not all good. Was Elvis all good? No, he was not all good. Was he always perfect? He was definitely not always perfect.
Human?
Because he was a human being, and we have to accept that. So that's why I take them over. So I have David Hepler coming over. I have Sheen Keister, the piano player who haven't been in Europe for any Elvis event before. I have Ron Strauss, the airline pilot, that flew more than 200.
Okay.
Who flew 250 flights, more than 250 flights with Elvis. Also flights that we never hear about, and he's coming to tell about that. So I think that's exciting. We are still 43 years after, not yet 43, but when our event is running off, it's 43 years after Elvis died. So to get something new and fresh, you have to dig a little harder, and we have done that. We have the Imperials here. We have Chis Henley, his nurse, who lived at Graceland also after Elvis died. We have a ton of people coming over. We have some of the actors. We have Charlotte Stewart, that nobody probably know anything about, but when I tell you who she is in a little bit, you know exactly who she is. But she had a role in Speedway, but that's not what made her famous. What made her famous was being part of the Little House on the Prairie, where she was the teacher. And when people close their eye and look at that, because you know exactly who she is. She was top famous, but not for the play with Elvis, but for other things that she did in life. And she's coming to kind of give her input of what it meant to, as a very young girl, to play against, a mega star. And then later on, she really make it herself. She become part of a lot of good movies after that. So we have a kind of different.
Sounds exciting.
Different.
Sounds fresh.
Yeah, something else. And then I know you have had it in England for years, different places, like a full week of Elvis, but we didn't have it on this side of Europe. So we really want to do it. It's a weekend, pumped up with stuff. We will have an auction where you can buy all sorts of collectibles and we will
coming back, aren't we?
We will have all sorts of activities. But the most important for us is the friendship. That you hang out with other Elvis fans and you can talk across. We have sold tickets in Austria, in Austria, Holland, Belgium, Germany, of course, Norway, Sweden, England. A ton of countries. We actually sold tickets in America. There's some people from America flying over brilliant. To be part of this. So,
are you selling tickets now for that event?
Yeah. So it's called we call it Memphis Mansion Garden Party, and a lot of people say, because it's going to be in a big tent, just where we're sitting right now. We can look out on the grass field there. We're going to have a big tent, and it's just going to be 3 rocking days. We call it 3 Elvis Extravaganza. That was a friend of mine in America. You should call it the 3-day Elvis Extravaganza. And that's what we want to do.
That's nice.
So Saturday night we have a party, where people can dance and hang out, have a beer and just talk and not so serious. And then there will be a very very serious the rest of the time where we talk and discuss Elvis. We even have like a workshop where we discuss what can we do, what can we as fans do in the future to keep this going. Like what are you guys doing? We have Spa Guy coming over for being part of that.
Bill's coming over.
Yeah. And we're having the guy from his name is Case, the guy who runs the Elvis Day by Day forum, where he has a blog called Elvis Day by Day, and he's coming over, and we're just discussing, what can we do and what should be done, why it's so important what you guys are doing, because it is important. It's important that somebody is doing it there, and somebody should do it 5 million other places.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all for promoting each other, aren't we?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're trying to do that. Yeah.
There has been too much competition, the way I see it. When I started out with the fan club in 1990, there was 2 other fan clubs in Denmark, and it was kind of a competition, and I never quite understood it. We just wanted to do it differently here. We had they always did impersonator things, or had somebody, showing a movie on a big screen, which you could, of course, do back then, but you cannot do it anymore. We all grew out of that. If we want to see an Elvis movie, we put it on at home.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do it and build something around it. Let's say that Charlotte Stewart was here and she wanted to talk about Speedway, and she said, by the way, if you look at this, blah, 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 and we will sit there and watch the movies with her information, and it would be totally different movies suddenly, right?
Commentary,
Then you would do it, so something like that could be done, but things have changed, and it may sound like religion, and it's definitely not religion, but I think it deserves to keep going. It had meant too much to too many people to die after our generation.
Yes.
Do you think the fan base is going to be there for another 30 years, 50 years?
I think it will.
Yeah.
I see young kids coming, but you have to work hard to get them coming.
Yeah, a lot of competition these days.
Yeah, and you have to do things that make them roll, like where they think, oh, that's cool, It's not very seldom I walk through the place here, obviously, and when I go through the shop, sometimes I can see some very, girls who maybe are 13 or 15 saying, oh, he's gorgeous, and I say, okay, good, that's the first step, start listening to him, and now we're talking, see you in 3 or 4 years' times, and you probably have him all over the place. But I have... I do every day at 12 in this week, because it's what we call the winter holidays. So the kids are off in this this week. So every day at 12 I do a small, if there's people for it, I walk around and talk about Elvis. And I actually had people go through and it's not because of me, it's because of Elvis, but I'm just explaining, going through that tour with me and start joining the fan club afterwards, saying, hey, it's cool, it's interesting, we want to know more, what was it with him? And I think that's important.
I think we need to tag on to this tour.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's in Danish, so... But I could do one in English for you afterwards or something like that. How long are you here?
We're not going home till Monday.
No, okay.
So we got as long as we want here today.
We'll pop into...
We'll probably come in tomorrow morning as well.
Sure.
Looks like a good place for breakfast.
Yeah. No, but we can do something like that afterwards if you want to. We can go through stuff, and we can talk about some of the items in the museum. How did I get them, and whatever. What you can use and how you can.
If you could, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, but of course.
We don't want to take you from whatever you're doing.
No. But I appreciate what you guys are doing, and it's not. Only for my brown eyes, it's also because I know that people in England listen to it, and I want to, of course, promote as much as I can.
And we want to promote you as well.
I appreciate that. I really do.
I found that I don't know anybody who's been here.
No.
And that's such a shame, because it was so easy to organise.
So close.
But
and that's what I don't understand.
I don't understand why didn't I do this?
Yeah, I tried to talk to some of the... I talked to... what's his name? Essential Elvis.
Essential Elvis, Andrew Hearn.
Andrew Hearn.
Yeah.
If he wanted to do something and he couldn't, the old travel company who used to do the trips to America for...
Elvis Travel Service.
Yeah, they were here one time on a cruise. They had 800 people here. It was amazing.
Wow.
But it never happened again.
Okay.
And then I was talking to Carol and Dave, right? At the... what do they call themselves?
Strictly Elvis.
Strictly Elvis,
That's it, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to them and they didn't want to bring anything over.
That's a real shame, isn't it? Because like you say, when we got here, our flight was, an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It cost us £40 return.
Yeah.
We can't get to Scotland from where we live for that cheap.
No.
You know.
Exactly. And you rent a car really cheap, right? Yeah. You rented a car?
No, we got a bus.
You took a bus?
Got a bus from the airport.
Bus and taxis, and we can have a drink.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no. But I know that for a fact you can rent cars really cheap coming from England.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that.
So some does that, and it's not really difficult. But we had a lady, her name is Michelle Davis. She's very active.
I spoke to Michelle this morning.
Okay.
And she said to send her love.
No, thank you. Please say hi to her and John as well. But the thing was that when she came over, she said the same thing that you guys said. It's not that and they flew to Copenhagen.
That's right. Yeah.
And they wanted to see some more, and you can do that as well. Yeah. But she said, it's just really around the corner, and when we have something. Why not go and have fun, And of course it's different. When we do the garden party, we only speak English.
Okay.
So everybody should be in on what's being said, and because people come from all corners of Europe, of the world, more or less. But I agree. Elvis is so big in England. You know, it should be possible to do something on a regular basis. I even told Michelle that we could do events here. You know, let's say there was 25 people or 50 people to bring a tour over. You know, we could do something on at our.
That is going to be our new mission. Get something going. We'll start it small.
Yeah. No, but it's...
why not? It's so close, you know?
Especially for the garden party weekend. You know, you're offering such a lot in such a short time period. Yeah. You don't need to go anywhere else. You can just go wallop. It's all here.
Yeah. You've built something quite spectacular here, and we're very pleased to be here.
Thank you.
We really are, and we're looking forward to the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And we'll pop round to the museum in a little while.
Yeah.
And then, if you've got time, we'll.
No, definitely, I would do it.
We'll walk round with you.
Yeah.
For your,
I would do
time,
it. There may be nobody today. You know, sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's not that many. So let's see what happens at noon. But let me do it in Danish with them, and then after that, we can talk and we can go into more deeply on some of the items that we have, or you know, just explain where we got it, how we got it, and if that's interesting. You know?
Absolutely, anything that you've got would be brilliant, and we really thank you for your time.
And also, what I can offer you, if you decide to come to the garden party, I can hook you up with some of the acts, so you can do an interview with them. You know what I mean? So when you're here, I can. No, but it's easy for me, and I like that as well. And again, it's not for my brown eyes. It's also because I hope you would say we are here live at the garden party in Randers, and now we are talking to Dave Ebler. And Dave, are you really that bastard that everybody says?
We're looking forward to that.
We're starting with podcast as well.
Have you?
Yeah, but I built it with Fie. In the shop, her name is, we call her Fie, F-E-E.
Okay.
And I do it with her, and I do it with her because she's so much younger than me, and I want to play that.
Two angles, isn't it?
Two angles, that she kind of asks me questions, and I can do it to her too, and say, hey, but when you see Elvis so-and-so, how does that appeal to you? You know, so I want to... You know, it's good as it is, but I want to do that game to see if I can, if I can build something up to, you know, to get younger people also to listen to it.
Well, if people see a younger person talking about it, then they're just going to connect more.
It's acceptable.
We also do TV. We do every Thursday at 6 o'clock on the Memphis Mansion Randers Facebook page. We do the live streaming. And that's me and her colleague, another young girl called Sabine. And she and I talk Elvis, you know, and ping pong and take questions from...
Is that in Danish?
That's in Danish, yeah. We tried to do it in English, but...
Probably got not enough hits, I would imagine.
No, English, it didn't bring it in much. It was still all the Danish watching it, you know. Yeah. So it was funny, and we had a lot of watchers, but, it was easier to do it in Danish then. Because, being our...
That's where you live.
That's where we live. So we didn't do it too well with the English, but and the podcast will only be in Danish. For them. You know, that's kind of our audience, if you know what I mean. That's you know, we have a big audience outside Denmark, but they go, I don't know, through our Facebook and translate what we are writing and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to press the C translation button, haven't you?
Yeah. So
that's okay. Well, listen, thank you very much for your time.
No, but of course.
We'll let you get on to, because you've got to do a tour in a minute, haven't you?
Yeah.
So,
sure. And thank you for the cab. Thank you for the magnet.
And we'll trail around and have a chat with you during the day.
Yeah, sure. And you are by invitation, so you just go down to the museum. You don't need a ticket. You can go back and forth as much as you want.
Oh, thank you.
And then I will. What time is it?
We'll catch up once you're less busy.
I still have a few minutes, but we can do that. No problem.
Excellent, thank you. Henrik Knudsen, Memphis Mansion Randers.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. So there we go. That was Memphis Mansion Randers.
What a day.
It's just amazing, wasn't it? And Henrik Knudsen, what a nice man.
He is Mr. Nice, isn't it? We've recorded interviews, but we've had a chat like we've known him for years.
Yeah, and he showed us lots of things he
shouldn't have done.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Highlight of that was holding a TCB chain that Elvis wore himself.
Yeah. Oh.
And Henrik, you know, he's very good. He was going to give it to us, and we said, no, you keep it.
Yeah.
Henrik.
We donate it to the museum, we said.
That's
but we
right,
know it's ours, really.
Yeah, indeed. So, so at some point, Henrik, when we're up against it, we may be coming back to that.
Yeah. What a day. Look at the pictures. Why aren't you there? Everybody, why aren't you there?